All right, guys, welcome to week 13. This is the content folder for this week. Notice, however, that we have an extra week going on here. Next week, well, this week runs from the 16th to the 22nd, but the 23rd to the 29th, that has Thanksgiving. So what I've done is I've just given you 2 weeks to do this assignment. It's not any more work than usual, but I've just spread out the time. So you have until the 29th to finish the week 13 folder, even though up here it obviously says through the 22nd. I'm not going to be posting new content until the 30th of November. With that being said, also these assignments, those are not due until the 29th at midnight as well. So the things you need to do for the next 2 weeks, first and foremost, present us with your multimodal presentation. If you are having trouble figuring out a way to record yourself, because you do need to record you presenting your online-based modality, it's difficult for people to record themselves presenting a website. One of the ways that I do that is for XSplit Broadcaster, and I'm going to post a video on how to use that. So if you would like to post a video like the one I'm doing here, to where you can just pull up your Facebook or your website or whatever, you can present it on this screen, and then you can just be talking in a webcam in the top right or left or whatever corner you decide. And that is how you can do that for one. Another option would be to just have someone record you sitting in front of a computer, kind of showing you like a normal presentation. Or if there's any other way, just the rules are just give me a video that has you presenting your multimodal presentation. So the things that you need to look out for, though, the rubric, which is here, posted in the week 13 file. And let me go back to that so I can show you again. It's the very first item on their multimodal presentation rubric, and it'll open up a Word document. And in that Word document, it gives you all the things I'm looking for. So the bottom line, probably the most important thing, is the 5 minutes. That is the length of time that we're shooting for this presentation. I'm not going to be a stickler if you go over, but I will only record the first 5 minutes. So make sure that all of the important information you have is in the first 5 minutes, and if you want to continue talking for 10 minutes, you can, but just make sure that all of these other options here are all described within the first 5 minutes, because those are the only parts that I consider for the grade. Now, of course, the typical rubric, 0, if you don't do it, you've done poorly in that item, it gives you 0 points. If you're struggling in that area or you're lacking, you get 2 points. The average is 3, good is 4, and the next one is 5. Big thing, I'll just kind of go down the list. Student clearly explains the problems and its negative consequences. So you're presenting us with a solution, but before you give us a solution, you first have to tell us what your problem is. What problem does your solution solve? And that is here. Did you do it clearly? Was I struggling to kind of figure out where it was? Did you even have it at all? And that's the problem and the negative consequences. Number 2, the student presents a solution, these solutions that are appropriate for the intended audience. He or she explains the benefits of implementing these solutions. So basically, tell us about your solution. The student identifies opposing views of his or her solution. So what are those people that don't like your solution? What do you think they're going to say, and what are you going to say to them? The visual is meaning and relevant and effective in achieving the purpose. Basically, how well did you design your multimodal presentation or your online presence? If you gave us a website, but it's just a generic Facebook page, it doesn't have any information on it, it just has a picture and a few words, well, obviously that wasn't very meaningful or effective. But if you maybe created an entire website and there's ways to contact you, and there's several pictures and there's descriptions, and it's just a very rich website, well, then obviously you've done a good job. And so this one is basically how well did you design how much effort, I should say, did you put into designing your online presence. Number 5, let's see. The student supports his or her argument with a sufficient amount of research. Basically, you give your sources. Even though it's an online website or social media, you should still cite some sources on there to show people that you're not making up this information, to show people that it's true, that what you're saying is real, and the problem you're presenting has real consequences, and the solution you're presenting is a real, viable solution. The student reaches an effective number of readers with the visual. Basically, if you're trying to get a number of people to support you so that you can change the mind of the senator, You're not really going to do that through a YouTube site. You're not going to send a video to a senator of you talking to the senator and telling them to change it whenever you're trying to get maybe 10,000 people to support you. An effective number of readers for that would be to go to an effective means of getting the number of people to do that would be creating a change.org site. If you created a change.org site and all you were trying to do was create a curriculum for students to learn math easier, well, you didn't really need a petition for that. You could have done that easily with a Facebook page. So basically, does your online presence, your online-based mode of communication, does it mesh well with your solution? The visual is appealing and error-free. Did you have a bunch of spelling errors? Did you have a bunch of pictures that were inappropriate? Is it visually appealing? The title is engaging. You don't just have at the beginning of your website, like if you built a website, you don't just have your name at the top of it, and that's about it. Make sure the title has something to do with your solution. Make sure it's engaging. Make sure it's error-free. The student provides enough information to accurately and effectively describe the proposal to the presentation audience. Are they understanding, or are we understanding what you're talking about based on what you're telling us? In those 5 minutes, if I'm still wondering at the 5th minute, if I'm still wondering what the solution is or what the problem is or what we're talking about, then that's a problem. So this is more on your presentation. The student's presentation style is engaging. That is more, I hate to say what they're doing, but really that's what it amounts to. If you have a camera behind you and you just are typing the whole time and showing people like over your shoulder and you never look at the camera, well, that's going to be a problem. If you are maybe just kind of looking down or reading at something, that's an issue as well. Just make sure that you're engaging. Even though the audience isn't actually there, they will be seeing this video and they will be there. So make sure you treat this video as if they were really there. And I'll tell you from experience, that's probably the most difficult part, especially in an online class. And last but not least, the length of the presentation is 5 minutes. So those items will be out of 100 total. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 items. They could be worth 5 points apiece max. So that adds up to 50, so I'll be doubling whatever your score is. So these guys will be at a 5. I'll add those up and then I'll double them, and that'll be your score out of 100. That is for the multimodal presentation. The other thing we need to do is use these peer review questions to go back and peer review two of your peers' essays. And we've done that, so I'm not going to go too deeply into that, but you should be able to click on here and go back to the items. Well, not for me, of course. But you should be able to click on that link and find all of the rough draft essays that people have brought up. And you should click on those and use these peer review questions to provide them some guidance. Now again, with these questions, the way that this works, 2 questions from the front, 2 questions from the back. Make sure if you choose 14 and 15 that you are answering writing project 4, since that's what we're in now. And there's another writing project 4 down there somewhere. There it is. Writing project 4, make sure you're answering those questions. And also, of course, you'll need 2 from this side, but the big thing for all 4 of these questions, and that's 4 per person, so answer 4 questions for each person. It doesn't have to be the same 4 questions for each person that you analyze or you review, but you review 2 people, do 4 questions for each of those people, so 8 questions total. Big thing though, make sure if you are while you're using these questions, you're not picking questions that are good. Make sure that the questions you choose are the questions that the person could use some support in. For instance, if they had a good thesis, don't pick 1B. Does the thesis adequately predict the paper's plan of development? Don't just say, if they did well in that one, don't pick it. You don't want to just say, yeah, you had a good thesis, good job, I really appreciate it, and I think it really predicted the paper's plan of development. Well, that doesn't give them any feedback. That says they did a good job, sure, but they need peer revisions. They need suggestions on what to do better. So that is the project for the week. And so again, just create your multimodal presentation, submit it here, go to the writing project for proposal essay rough draft discussion board that people are writing in this week, I believe. And provide 2 people with some peer revisions. Other than that, I think that's everything we have for this week. So if you have any questions, again, feel free to contact me as always via email, phone call, text, Skype, whatever you need. Other than that, have a good week, and I look forward to watching your videos.